Hello, welcome to the Mentoring Scheme Setup Plan. My name is Richard Daniel Curtis and I am the founder, the person behind the Mentoring School. Now, I have worked with hundreds of organisations with helping them establish mentoring schemes and helping them to think about the impact and the value and the ROI of mentoring schemes. And one of the things that I spend time each year doing is working with organisations like yourselves and helping them to set up a really effective mentoring scheme. Now, having done this so many times, it's become almost second nature to me. And I appreciate for you, it's probably something that's relatively new or quite new and might even feel overwhelming or confusing. But for where I've been doing it so many times, actually, one of the things that is very clear to me is that there are a series of steps that you need to go through. There are a series of building blocks that you need to go through in a certain order. And so what I've spent time doing over the last year is developing the Mentoring Scheme Setup Plan. This is a plan where I've used all of my experience, having worked internationally with mentoring schemes, to develop a plan that will give you, guarantees to give you, an effective mentoring scheme. So we will work with you to go through the 5 steps. The first step is going to be about making sure that we've got a very clear vision, making sure that actually we've identified the correct type of mentoring and what it's going to look like, and make sure that we have in place right from the start what our impact, what our measurables are going to be. And so we move on to the second stage, where we start thinking about the 4 pillars of a mentoring scheme and start bringing them together. So we start thinking about who's going to be running it, who's going to be administering your scheme. We start thinking about your procedures, your protocols. We think about safeguarding. We think about what your training is going to look like. All of these things, all these strands start to come together, and we start to get a concept of what your mentoring scheme is going to look like. Stage 3 is where we then start testing it. We ran a pilot, so it's likely to be a small scale pilot. We might be looking at maybe 10 up to 15 mentors, just to have a proof of concept. And this is a really important stage, because actually this gives us our first measurables. Something that's really important to me, something that I make sure that we insist that we guarantee, is about impact. And for you, I want to make sure by stage 3 that we are already having an impact on your organisation, that we are already having some kind of positive impact as a result of the mentoring. And so that pilot stage is so fundamentally important. Once we've got that, we start to review and collate and review that evidence. We can then build that into thinking about our growth testing phase. And this stage 4 is all about testing the suitability of your mentoring scheme for growth. And so stage 4 is all about, almost like a second pilot, but actually we're now starting to grow it. We're starting to bring other mentors, other teams in, other people in to it, because actually what we want to do is we want to build evidence of scalability at this point. You'll notice I keep coming back to this evidence. Evidence is so important. This is all about our measurables, all about our impact. It's only then we get through to stage 5, which is when you have reached the growth stage. This is the point that you should be ready to soar with your mentoring scheme. This is all about helping you to have robust systems for recruiting and training mentors, to rolling out a wider scale mentoring scheme and actually going live with that wider scale mentoring scheme. So the mentoring scheme setup plan is all about helping take you from this tiny stage of actually I want to run mentoring, and I found out it's really impactful, I found out that it's going to make this difference, all the way through to having something that is fit for purpose for your organisation, and making sure that you've got something that is scalable, something that's going to make that real big difference. So we look forward to working with you. We will work with you regularly on a consistent basis, and maybe every 2 or every 3 weeks we will meet with you to make sure that you are pushing through and make sure that you are actually following through, that you're on track to achieve this. It will take us 12 to 15 months to go through the 5 stages, but as we're doing that, we will be working with you to make sure that you've got the evidence, you've got the impact, and that you can see the ROI as you are doing it. So please have a look at the information on this page. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to helping you to achieve the goals that you are seeking with mentoring.